Australia versus South Africa in our home city, as Brad Hogg says, as part of the Kolkata Knight Riders. Another classic. Look at Australia. 2 losses and then the team just took off. David Warner, Travis Head, Mitch Marsh after that family tragedy, that 170. The bowling's coming good. Adam Zampa stepped up. South Africa, on the other hand, a Henrik Klaasen, a David Miller, really good Aiden Markram. But this will also be a classic in Kolkata at the Eden Gardens to set it up. No one better. Former world champion, got every prediction right. Dear friend, absolute champion of the game, Brad Hogg. Brad, set up this semi-final for us.
Where the game's going to be won here is in the batting. I think both bowling departments are fairly well even. But South Africa have got a better strike rate than the Australian top order. So that's one thing that you've got to look at. But when you're playing that aggressive game, sometimes it doesn't come off. And those games that South Africa have lost throughout the tournament, their top order hasn't survived, and they haven't been able to adapt that well. So for me, if South Africa get off to a good start out the top, the cock gets away to a flyer, South Africa will really challenge Australia. But if they lose early wickets, then all of a sudden that middle order's under pressure, and I don't think they'll be able to handle the pressure of the Australian bowling attack. So for me, it's getting off to a good start for South Africa. Whereas if you look on the Australian front, they don't have power in the middle order. Are they going to go with Labuschagne and Steve Smith in this game? If they do, all of a sudden those middle overs, they're not quite as aggressive as South Africa, and that's where Australia could lose the game. If both Smith and Labuschagne are batting together in the middle overs, slowing the innings down, and South Africa can capitalise on there. So they're the 2 holes that both teams have at the moment.
Is Australia peaking at the right time, you reckon? Because all of a sudden the graph is looking a very steep up.
Yeah, I think they are peaking at the present moment. I thought they struggled early, but Adam Zampa, I thought he was terrible in the first 2 games. He wasn't at his best, but then we find out that he's got a bit of an injury concern. So that was a bit of a worry, right? You've replaced Ashton Agar with Labuschagne rather than another spinner, knowing that Zampa had those injury concerns behind the scenes. But they took that risk and it's paid off, and full credit to Adam Zampa, the way that he's come back. If it wasn't for him, Australia wouldn't be in the position that they are now. You really need a top quality spinner performing over there in India, and that's where our hole was at the start of the tournament. But since he's turned it around, the momentum's gone in Australia's favour. And 21 wickets, I think he's got, or 22 wickets now in the World Cup. Congratulations, Adam. You've just kicked me out of a place on the list. But yeah, it's just good to see him doing really well.
And a word on Pat Cummins as leader, doing extremely well, because to rally after losing a couple of games and then get the team together. If I compare the 2 leaders, Pat Cummins and Temba Bavuma, all of a sudden it seems that Pat Cummins is more in control, at least in the business end. Am I right in saying that?
Oh, definitely. But the good thing about Pat Cummins is that he's got a very experienced bowling attack, so he doesn't really have to have too many messages going to his bowlers. So the bowlers are really setting the field the way that they want it. The only thing he talks to his bowlers about, if they're under a little bit of pressure, are you clear? Are you concise with the plans that you want to do now? And all of a sudden the bowler relaxes and gets his thoughts back into perspective and makes those right decisions. Whereas Bavuma, he's got Jansen there with the all-rounder who he relies on heavily with the new ball. If things aren't right there, then he's got to go up there and help him in that particular regard. But he's also got experience in the other formats. The thing with South Africa, but they've also got Shamsi, so they've got an extra spin option if Kolkata looks as though it's going to be a sprint-friendly wicket. That's the other advantage to South Africa. But I just think Bavuma and Cummins, the difference between them is Cummins is able to take riskier moves than what Bavuma is. Cummins thinks more on his feet than what Bavuma does, and that can be a difference in finals as well. Thinking on your feet. Not trying to continue with the structure that you've gone in there as planned before the game starts.
Last 2 questions, Brad. One, Australia has won so many World Cups, multiple World Cups, and that too, back-to-back World Cups. South Africa has never won. Do these things play in your mind? I mean, will this play in Bavuma's mind? I'm on the cusp of history, 2 more games to go. But in Pat Cummins, you've got someone who's, sort of obviously his team has, a lot of them have won, even the T20 World Cup, for example, 2021, a David Warner, all of them have won World Cups. Is that something that's important?
Look, I think Australia go into this particular final with a little bit of pressure with that history. Because you don't want to be that team that has a quality team on paper but doesn't quite get there at the end. So there'll be a bit of pressure there with the expectation on Australia. When it comes to South Africa, the pressure there is, we've got that tag in previous World Cups, especially against Australia, as chokers, and I don't like using that word. So for me, South Africa have got to go out there and go, we've got nothing to lose. We've been so close in previous tournaments. We've come here, we're having fun, we're just playing our brand of cricket. Let's just go out there and take them on. We lost against Australia in the lead-up game. We've got nothing to lose. We can just turn it around. If we win here, then all of a sudden we go to the final. Who knows what can happen? So don't have too many expectations if you're South Africa, and Australia have got to forget about the expectations.
Yeah, and that was actually my last question. I mean, 2000, whether it is 1999, that heartbreak of Alan Donald and Lance Klusener, 2007, again, a World Cup that you guys sort of smashed your way through, South Africa coming close till the semi-final stage, 2015, that heartbreak in Auckland. Do these things play? That, we've come to the semi-final so many times, we've just got to cross the line. And by trying to overdo things, put extra pressure on yourself, can that happen as well? And should South Africa guard against that?
Yeah, South Africa have got to guard against that, but I think South Africa have also got to look at their history as well. With what they've gone through over the last 15 years, and I don't want to go into the politics of things, but South Africa have had a system there where they've had to play certain players in a quota system. And they've done really well. They've changed the face of cricket over there. They've given opportunities to other people that probably wouldn't have had those opportunities if these measures weren't in existence. So having to play with that and compete and get to these finals, it's been a huge success for South Africa. And that's another reason. If they win tonight, congratulations to them because they thoroughly deserve it, because it's been a long time waiting since they've come back into international cricket from the apartheid eras. They've worked hard. They've had to change their systems, the way that they structure their team, and what they've done for cricket has been absolutely sensational. So if they win this tournament, I'm going to be very appreciative of the hard work that's happened over the last 20, 25 years for them moving forward.
Last question, I asked you this. Your heart said, about India, New Zealand, I asked the same question. Is there a difference? Obviously, your heart will say Australia, but what is it? I mean, where does Brad Hogg, if you have to put your money, where will you put your money? Is it South Africa? Is it Australia?
Look, I definitely want Australia to win. I've got Mitch Marsh in the team, also Josh Inglis that I've played with here in WA. But Mitch Marsh is a close family friend. Jeff Marsh was my hero. That's his father. And with the death of a family member just earlier in the week that's just happened, I really wanted him to have success. And I just want to say something on Mitch Marsh there. The amount of criticism that he's had here in Australia over his career, getting told certain things of why he's been selected because of his father and so forth, he shouldn't be in the team. Look, he's had to put up with a lot, and just to see him have this success in the World Cup and things really turning for him over the last year, it's just absolutely sensational. And I just wanted to see him come out of this tournament with a victory, with a World Cup to his name, because he thoroughly deserves it on an individual basis. But also, the Australian team, they've made some big decisions over the last couple of years as well, and the players have led that revolt. And with the players leading it and setting their own agenda, I think it'll be good for them too. It just shows that you know, when you've got experienced team members in there, you can have that success. So, you know, I'm fully behind Australia in this. If South Africa win this particular game, you know, I still have that soft spot for South Africa for moving forward. But there's no doubt I want an Australian-Indian final, especially on Indian soil.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Brad Hogg. Thank you very much. You're an absolute gem. I mean, analyst, friend, commentator, and of course, someone who's been there, done that, and has taken extreme pressure in his own career. Hopefully, after the final, you'll give me some more minutes to come and have a chat and recollect and recap what has transpired in the World Cup. And hopefully, we will soon see you in India for the Australia series as well. Thank you very, very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks very much, Corey. Yeah, and all the fans out there, just watch for those pressure moments and how the individuals handle those pressure moments. That's what I look for in the final. Not so much for the result, just to see how or who stands up, who controls their emotions through a final and who doesn't.
Thank you so much.